In this video, I'm going to talk about Are You Experienced by Jimi Hendrix. The album is celebrating 55 years and was released on May 12th, 1967. So I'll be giving a little history on the album. I'll talk about the songs, and that's about it. So let me just get right into it. So back in 1966, Jimi Hendrix was an R&B guitar player. He was struggling. He eventually caught the eye of two of the former members of the Animals. One was a manager, and they gave him a record deal. And after that, they took him to London. He went to look for some members of his new band, and then he created the Jimi Hendrix Experience. So while in London, Jimi Hendrix met Noel Redding and Mitch Mitchell. He formed the three-piece Jimi Hendrix Experience. He later met some guitar players. He met Eric Clapton in London, and Eric Clapton was completely blown away by Jimi Hendrix's talent on the guitar. Prior to the release of the first album, they released a few singles, and he appeared on a few UK television shows. The singles released were Hey Joe, that's a cover song. It's about a man killing his woman for being with another man. Stone Free, that's a song I really like, has really cool jazzy types of chords. Some people actually believe that Jimi Hendrix was responsible for creating heavy metal music or even just hard rock music. Because, when you think about it, after Jimi Hendrix went to London, he played with many other musicians, like Paul McCartney and Pete Townsend. Now, these heavier bands started appearing like in the later years. You got Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and before that, there wasn't really heavy music. We had like The Who, we had the Kinks, and they were playing rock music, but it wasn't the same type of like electrical guitar riffing that, Jimi Hendrix created. So it's just a theory, and, maybe he is responsible for the emergence of heavier music. So that brings us to Are You Experienced? It has two different covers. The first cover you can see here is the original UK cover. Shows a picture of a band with a black background. And the other one is the one I'm familiar with. It's the North American cover. It has the band with a fisheye lens picture and a yellow background. So the album covers a wide variety of styles. It has some styles that like Jimmy was playing before he formed the band, like the rhythm and blues playing. And, that can be heard on songs like Red House and Remember. Then there's some hard rock, jazz, funk, psychedelic rock, and let me talk about the songs. The first track is Foxy Lady. This was later released as a single, and a song I've always liked. It's a little bit of hard rock, a little bit of psychedelic rock, kind of shows off everything that Jimi Hendrix is going to be showing you. Manic Depression, it's a song I've always liked, and it's kind of like a jazzy song. And Jimi Hendrix's guitar riffs are really great, and really like that second track. Then there's Red House. I talked about this a minute ago. It's a 12-bar blues song. It has lyrics about a woman who doesn't love her man anymore, and she leaves him. This shows Jimi Hendrix playing a softer blues style, the kind of music he was originally known to play. The North American release didn't have Red House, so track 3 had Hey Joe. This is the only cover song on the album. I talked about this a few minutes ago also, and a very influential song. It was even covered by the band Body Count many years later. Can You See Me appeared on the UK release. The short song, very reminiscent of like psychedelic rock. Reminded me of like the band Cream. This one's pretty good. It has great lyrics and a pretty cool song. Love or Confusion is a really cool song. It's psychedelic rock. Shows off his like guitar acrobatics. You can hear him using like the whammy bar, and does those like vibrato effects. And another really awesome song. I Don't Live Today is a different type of song, dedicated to Native Americans and other minority groups, and this has been called Gothic Rock as opposed to psychedelic rock. Another song that shows off Jimmy's style. He uses the feedback, and great song. May This Be Love. It's a slower, more dreamlike, relaxing type of song. It's very mellow, laid back. The lyrics are very thoughtful. The song later appeared on the Singles soundtrack. That's a very popular movie from the early 90s. That was about the Seattle music scene. Next song is Fire. One of the songs that he often played live. It was a really great song, mixing psychedelic rock and soul and funk. The song was covered by the Red Hot Chili Peppers on the Mother's Milk album, and one of his most influential songs. Third Stone from the Sun. It's mostly an instrumental. There are some spoken parts. It's basically about aliens coming to Earth and thinking that chickens are the most intelligent form of life. They end up blowing up the Earth. It's psychedelic space rock. The song preceded other space rock bands, like UFO. So it's been very influential. The melody has been used in other pop songs. If you remember that song, I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred, they used the melody in that song. And it's a great instrumental. After that, Remember. This one shows off Jimmy's classic style, the blues. Talking about his baby left him. It's just classic blues style and the kind of music that he originally started playing. And that song appears on the UK release, but it was not included on the North American release. Are You Experienced? The title track, it's the final song on the album. It's very ahead of its time. They used the backwards guitar playing and they created those types of effects then. Also an influence of like Indian music, so it's one of the standouts on the album. And there are two songs that I failed to mention, and those are two of his biggest hits actually. They were singles and they were only on the North American version. So I'm talking about Purple Haze and The Wind Cries Mary. Purple Haze, really iconic song, one of the predecessors to heavy metal music. This has a really awesome riff, and a lot of people think it's about like taking an acid trip, but according to Jimi Hendrix, it was about a dream he had about walking underwater. And the song will always be one of his classics, The Wind Cries Mary. It's a really great song. It's a ballad, one of the singles, and it's mellow. It's a really great song. And it's just laid back, it's just nice, relaxing type of song. Has some cool guitar riffs in that one as well. So that is all. Let me know what you think of Jimi Hendrix. Are You Experienced?
So before I go, I want to show you some Jimi Hendrix stuff I have in my music room. Here's my guitar. This is not an actual Stratocaster, but it is in that style, and it's just kind of more of an imitation version. Here is a Jimi Hendrix pillow that I have over here. And I have a Jimi Hendrix poster on a printed canvas. That's a pretty cool painting. And this is a painting that I actually painted myself. It's acrylic painting on canvas, and I framed it. Just a picture of Jimi Hendrix, one of my favorite guitarists that I've always liked. So if you want to do a quick little close-up on that, and I'll just scan it. And this is also in my living room. So that is it.
This is definitely a classic album, one of my favorites of all time. I've listened to this album when I was very young. I think the first time I discovered it, I was like a teenager. And I've always loved it. Let me know in the comments what you think of this album. So, up next, it's the weekend. I will be listening to some more albums today. And the two death metal bands, Jungle Rot and Misery Index, did an album by the Grand Bonnet Band. And I'm interested in checking out to see what that's about. So, that is all. Please remember, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.